Hey y'all, welcome back to Gonzo's Cocktail Creations. Today we're going to recreate a cocktail that I invented on Thanksgiving Day. So I'm sitting around, we're drinking sangria, we're drinking coquito, and that's all great, but I felt I had to turn it up a notch. So I looked around the house, saw what we had. We had some brandy left over from the sangria. Anybody who makes a good sangria knows some brandy never hurt. This is tea left over from Rose's coquito, cinnamon, cloves, anise, really simple. We got agave, and we got Cointreau. Two ingredients you always need in the house if you're looking to make some bomb-ass margaritas. We had some lemons. My mom was using it to season the turkey a bit. And we have the aquafaba. What the fuck is aquafaba, right? So it's actually chickpea juice. Yeah, you heard it right, chickpea juice. You buy a can of chickpeas, you strain the chickpeas out, and what you got left is aquafaba. Aquafaba is a fucking amazing alternative to egg yolk. And guess what that makes it? Vegan. And you know that shit is trendy. So we're making vegan cocktails. And also, you guys always talking about, oh, Gonzo, I want to create your cocktails, but the ingredients are so weird and foreign. I hear you. I like to use some weird shit, but not with this cocktail. Easily get either one of these bottles at any liquor store you go to. This tea is super simple to make. Check the link. I'll show you how. Agave, of course you get it at the grocery store. Lemon, of course you get it at the grocery store. And the aquafaba comes free with your purchase of chickpeas. So it's an inexpensive drink. It's an easy to find drink. No excuses. Make this cocktail. All right, so let's get started. I forgot to mention, we're calling this cocktail the ChickTea. We'll start small, 0.25 ounces agave. We'll go 0.5 lemon juice, 0.5 Cointreau, 0.75 Aquafaba, 1 ounce spiced tea, and 1 ounce brandy. Now, since we have the aquafaba in there, we're looking to create that nice foam. We're gonna dry shake it. Then we'll drop some cubes in. Go ahead and strain it into a coupe. That beautiful texture. Lightly drop our anise star just for some added aromatics. So here it is, the ChickTea. It's beautiful, I know. I'm not gonna taste it just yet though, because today we have something special happening. We're gonna have our first ever guest on Gonzo's Cocktail Creations, and it's only right we kick that off with singer, songwriter, vocalist, the boy could do it all. My brother, Ricky, known to the music industry as Hagen. What's up, my brother? How are you?
Man?
I'm glad to have you on.
Happy to be here.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Okay.
Every time. This dude doesn't miss a shot.
Let's start from the first time we met. So this is a funny story, actually. I'm with my sister waiting for this guy for a Wale concert, and I had never met him before. But it's funny because I'm standing online, we're waiting, this guy's late. So we're sitting there like 15 minutes goes by, so my sister's looking, she can't see him. And I see a guy walking, some J's, dressed fresh to death from the distance. I'm like, yo, Lisa, this is him right here, right? This is him coming up. Sure enough, it's this guy, Ricky Hagen. He ended up spitting a freestyle, do a little battle rap in there, and I knew...
It's freezing that day, bro.
I knew at that point it was going to be a match made in heaven. So just tell me a little bit about your story with music, where you started from, what's your inspirations, like, you know, just from the roots.
Yeah, of course, man. So growing up in my household was a very eclectic household. A lot of Latin jazz, a lot of Hector Lavoe, Spanish music, and then the influence from the rock. So growing up was always almost like a soundtrack.
Well, first let's start with this. At what point did you decide, like, I'm gonna try to make music? Is that something that came naturally? That like one day you were just like, oh look, these words rhyme, or wow, I could sing. Honestly, or did somebody push you to that? Or
to be completely honest, like the music thing didn't 100% come natural in form of being a vocalist. So I initially started as a rapper, always rapped throughout school, middle school, high school. You know, I was mostly submerged in like the hip hop era. But then I would slowly start to sing, and I developed like a huge liking for it. Funny thing is, I really didn't like start singing in front of anyone until about 8th or 9th grade, where there was a couple kids in my class I used to, you know, play shows out. They were part of jazz band or try to, you know, play different instruments throughout school.
Okay.
And some of these guys, you know, I grew up the balls to be like, hey, you know, like I could sing, man. I should be your, you know, I should be your front man. Gaining up the courage to finally, you know, sing in front of them, and then it impressed them, which made me feel confident. So that's where it took off.
Something else that I wanted to touch on is like, it's pretty crazy just to see the transition, because when I met you, you were rapping, and I was like, damn, this guy could rap. He was rapping against maybe one or two other people, and this guy came out and just had bars ready and, you know, and just threw them down. Meanwhile, the other guys are stumbling over words, trying to, you know, think of some pre-written shit from years ago, and, you know, this guy came with the good stuff. But then, right after I got to know you, you were working with Madeley. So the first time I ever saw you perform or anything like that was with a rock band.
Yeah.
And then after you were done with that, then it's like, oh shit, he could do R&B too. So this is crazy. But, you know, so to see you there, rap, I was impressed. Then rock, they're killing it. Look, the crowd's going in. And now you're doing R&B and people are loving that too.
The thing that I changed now with my music going forward is that I feel like I'm being a truer artist to R&B now because I'm more comfortable in that realm. Right. Whereas the rock thing, for the essence of having a band, was very cool and I learned a lot. Mm-hmm. But I kind of came full circle to now work in music that I'm more comfortable in, that suits me, that comes natural.
Back to Madeley, like I know you guys ended up breaking up after some time. You guys had some success while you were at it. Yeah. What was it that kind of, you know, put the fork in that?
I'll forever have love for those guys. Like, you know, they great group of dudes. The thing that happened with us is we were all really young. It's kind of hard to trigger one thing that like really set us off rail, but honestly, I think it was that our progression was so fast, like too fast for us to handle. Like we should have been recording music and putting it out way before the amount of shows and the caliber of shows that we ended up playing. There was definitely times where we were butting heads because the genres, you know, clashing a little bit. So
and you know, that was also cool. Some of the guys you're in the band with, like, you know, they looked the rock star part. I remember Homeboy was up there with no shoes, you know, so it had that real rock aspect to it. But then, yeah, with your vocals and your style, it still did blend in that R&B feel to it. So that was a cool contrast. People liked that. After that broke up, talk me through a little bit of what led up to this point.
So midway through Madeley, through a mutual friend I had, I met BMR Music, BMR Brian.
Grammy nominated.
Kid that has always held me down since I met him. That everyone obviously knows today. Very, very good friend of mine. I met Brian. Brian was making hip-hop beats, was working with a lot of artists that were coming up at the time, more in the rap hip-hop world. So I gravitated him towards that because I always had an affinity for rap, as I said in the past. So I brought him on board in Madeley, and he was like our active manager at the time. Eventually, when things kind of crumbled towards the end, he was the guy that stepped up and was like, look, dude, you know, this might not have worked out. Don't get discouraged. Like, I rented a studio space in Manhattan. Like, let's fucking go to work. Let's start making some rap. We hit the drawing board. We were recording in the city, recording a lot. We recorded about maybe like 17 songs and then chopped it down to maybe 10. We were really comfortable with that. We kind of ran out of money towards the end as far as marketing, and then kind of shoved the whole project. So I had a project called like the Early Bloomers LP, and that never came out. No one ever heard it.
I have to bring up something that I always bring up to you when it comes to music. We always got to talk about my favorite rap joint Hagen ever put out, and that's called Boom Bap. And that man said, I ain't fucking with no Reggie like the Saints roster. I'm from Long Island. Play the beer games and sip the Fosters. Bring it back. I ain't fucking with no Reggie like the Saints roster. I'm from Long Island. Play the beer games and sip the Fosters.
Flowing dirty like the water from a tap faucet. Endorse it. You're spending money on a good cause without no knowledge, man. They're tired of them hood songs. There's always struggle. Get a muzzle for your hood sauce and stop complaining and maintain what your hood's flaws.
The other thing I was gonna say about you know, both the guys you work with, BMR and Danny, is that like they're fans of yours. You know, there's one thing, you know, buy a beat off somebody you found online. You know, they both know what you're capable of. They both know, you know, where they can stretch your limits to.
Yeah, for sure.
They're happy to make beats for you because they're excited to see what you could do with them, and they're, you know, they're pulling for you.
Hopefully these guys know I give them, you know, enough credit. I'm forever, you know, in debt and grateful for everything they do for me. Like, I have, you know, light years and advantage over a lot of artists I know because I don't, like you just said, I don't have to search for beats and I don't have to search for an engineer. Like the harder part with like making quality of music is like already taken care of for me. Without these guys, I couldn't make these songs. These are their songs. These are my songs. They're just as much their songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's definitely something I would give as like a token of advice for artists that are out or new artists that are on the rise. That's to pay attention the most you possibly can to the quality of the music that you're putting out. Not that my music's the most incredible thing ever, but I feel like quality over quantity is such a big deal. Don't try to record a whole album and then when you're done with all this work you put into it, then you don't have enough money to get it mixed and mastered. You know what I mean? Yeah. Put out a single and pay for it to get professionally mixed and mastered by somebody, you know, that knows what they're doing. Somebody that's going to make your music sound to the best of its ability.
All right, so I kind of want to segue into this newest single you got out, Climax. But before that, I mean, these drinks are looking sad right now. They're looking empty as fuck. Ta-da!
All right.
Let's jump right into your new single, Climax. It's a personal song. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, Climax was a hard song to write. So I had a friend of mine that was going through something that was really tough, relationship that was, on the fence of breaking up, and a lot of things that could have went right that, took a wrong turn. And that song just really for me was, a stepping stone or a platform for me to be able to express, my feeling as like a young kid going through like a divorce and his parents, breaking up. And I try to utilize that pain that I got, deep inside of me from understanding that feeling and being able to convey that on a song to the best of my abilities. I feel like a song like that is like impossible to fake, and that's why it came across so well. Right. It's funny, everybody always puts me in that like sad boy category. Like I feel like I could tap into like a sadder energy so much easier than making a happy song. Like there's so much more in depth that you can get with that feeling of not feeling comfortable, of feeling sad, of feeling, depressed or let down. And like that for me is like something that I've always been able to like be the truest I can when writing a song.
What do you have going forward? What's your next step?
Yeah, as far as the release date, it's kind of contingent. It's kind of hard for me to put a date out there. I have a lot of songs recorded at the moment, so I worked hard this year. Me, Brian, Danny, everybody worked very hard to get some songs done. So we got some songs in the works. They still need a little bit of work fine-tuning. Right. Me and Nolan got to work. We did 2 songs together as well. So we'll probably have something coming out in the spring, some bangies, you know what I mean?
There we go.
I'm going to start putting out, some more of my solo music, and then I'll introduce the other songs I worked on as well. Could be ambitious, but I'm hoping by March, maybe by March, I'll have that EP out. The
listeners, the fans, everyone's going to have to indulge in what we got now. We got Summer, we got Climax, we got Routine. So go back, listen to them. They're jams, man. Well, this has been fucking amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I think that's going to wrap up Gonzo's Cocktail Creations for this evening. Make sure you check out the man Hagen on iTunes. Got a few jams out there. Give him a listen. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep enjoying ourselves. So that's the end. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Think of all the time that I wasted still leaving. Even though we worked it out this evening. How do you make choices like this easy? I would never do that to you. Do that to you.